Here we go.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
Welcome to Couples.
Welcome to Couples. Welcome to the world of Tantra. And I can't believe that nobody's live right now, but well, there is someone. Hello, hello, beautifuls. We are waiting a little bit. So, we want to talk to you about Tantra and how becoming a Tantric woman changed my life, changed my sexuality, changed our relationship
actually, yeah.
and changed a lot for you also. And we're so curious, to hear what your experiences are with Tantra, what you think Tantra is for you. And we're going to make it quickie because there's so much we could talk about.
So, drop us a line. What do you think Tantra is? And
what's Tantra to you, beautifuls, and how do you live it? Do you live it in your life? Do you experience it already? Yes. So Tantra.
What is Tantra?
What is Tantra? And Tantra is so much. And I think I'm going to try to sum it up. I think a lot of people, when they think about Tantra, they think Tantra is only sex. At least that's a concept that's really big in Germany. And for me, Tantra is so much more than sex and sexuality. In effect, sexuality is just one tiny part of Tantra. And a lot of times I like to equal it with yoga. There's a whole world of yoga lifestyle, and Tantra for me is a lifestyle. It's a decision. And it's maybe, if I have one sentence, it's the way of ultimate acceptance of everything there is. Of ultimate inclusion of everything there is in integration. That can be darkness, that can be light, that can be love, that can be hate, that can be anything. So it's just saying yes to anything, and it also means including sex into your life and using your energies to create a life, to navigate yourself through life. And that's just what comes to me right now. Do you have something else to add?
This is already so big. Let's dive into it.
Let's maybe real quick. What is Tantra and sex? What does Tantra mean for you in sex?
Ooh, if you use what you said before and apply to the field of sexuality, it can be everything.
Yeah.
So it's a yes to everything. So it's not about being very sensual or very slow or very whatever. Could also be rough and hard and whatever. But I think the main focus is about being conscious. So
hey from Sweden. Hello from Mallorca.
So use all these impressions, all these different energies, all these different feelings to really get it and really let it sink into your being. And by that, getting a better understanding of you as a
being,
as a divine being, as a consciousness.
And just maybe to conclude that, what I want to include is taking the concept of Tantra is everything, to say yes to everything in life. And that also means that in sexuality, to say yes to everything, to your darkness, to your desires, to your dirtiness, to your lightness, to the softness, to everything, It's about really saying yes to life and not excluding anything, and that means a lot of times also the darkness. And that's why in a lot of, I think in a lot of traditions, sex doesn't have a big role because it's just excluded. And Tantra for me is a path of personal growth, including sexuality. All right, so much about Tantra, and there's so much more to speak. What does it mean to be a Tantric person, to be a Tantric woman, and how do we live it, and how did it change our lives? Where do I start?
Maybe at the beginning, before you were a Tantric woman. So how did you act, or how did you have sex, and how was your relationship with sex?
Before I changed things in my life, I've talked about it so many times. I hated sex, and I didn't have a personal relationship to it. It was painful. It was fulfilling somebody else's desire, somebody else's needs. It was just something fishing for compliments, fishing for attention a lot of times. I didn't know my needs. I didn't go for them. I didn't dare to speak about them. I just wanted to fulfill the needs of my partner. I didn't feel a lot. I was numb. And I definitely did not use my energies. I didn't even know I had something like that. So to take that, maybe to jump a little bit, what changed ever since, and why I would call myself tantric now, and a lot of that is in the tantra for me has a lot to do also with energies, understanding that we're energetic beings, and that sexual energy is life force energy. You know, it's like activating your energy centers and feeling that again and using them. So for me now, sexuality is the most important thing in my life, because it means that I am moving my energies. It means that I am alive. It means that I am in contact with the source of my being, with my power. And it's actually something that connects me with the divine. It's something that connects me deeply with myself and with my partner. And this is how I experience sexuality today. It's not only physical. I do feel a lot on my physical body, but it's a lot of times really energetic, where I just feel so much energy. And I think that's also something Tantra has a lot to do with, unblocking your energies and really being sensitive to energies again. Yeah.
So how did it start? Like, what did you first in your journey
do? I think the first thing I did was that I looked at my life, and I just allowed myself to see that my sexuality wasn't the way I wanted it to be. Acceptance was a big one, and the desire to change something. And I think back then I was like, fuck, there's this huge field of sexuality. I have no idea how it works. I need help. But the moment I opened up, there were Tantra teachers and workshops and courses brought to me, you know. It's just opening up to changing something. The need, you know, the desire to change something is what changed things. And then there's so much I did. I think I started with, you know, really working on blockages and traumata on a subconscious level, you know, really, because a lot of times sexuality and the blockage, they have a lot to do with experiences we made. And also unblocking energies and healing things on my body, you know, in my yoni, and getting a better sense for myself again, exploring myself, my needs, what do I want. It actually started that I took back my responsibility to myself, and I started to explore myself, and I understood that sex was something that I needed to heal, and that it was all about me. So that's what I did.
I think this is a big one, to take back your responsibility, and the blaming maybe you did to all the sex partners you had.
Yeah, that's a big one. I claimed man for so long, you know, maybe you know what I mean, you know, saying, oh fuck, in my mind, like constantly like wishing that he would touch me a certain way, but he didn't. And then I got so frustrated and angry and sad because again, they didn't please me. Again, you know, it was not about me. And it was a hard one, you know, to wake up and to understand, fuck, you know, first of all, how is he supposed to know if I don't communicate it? Not at all. If I don't even make sound, nothing. I don't give you a response, nothing. And second of all, a lot of times if I don't even know, how is my partner supposed to know? And third one, take back my responsibility, understanding that I am responsible for my pleasure. I am responsible for my desires, you know, to get them, and not my partner. And to also give you back your. That's something I cannot speak about this often enough. That brought me so much freedom.
It's both at the same time, right? Like taking back your power and giving back the power of the other, like not trying to please him.
Yeah, also. And allowing myself to go for my needs also, you know. So it was an incredible journey. Like that's what I mean, like a lot of personal growth, because I'm not the same person anymore that I used to be. And in healing my sexuality, I got so much more, I became a strong woman. I feel so much more empowered. I'm really clear in what I want and what I need, and I can speak it out. You know, I go for my needs. I'm a really sensual woman. I can really completely let go and surrender. And that was a big learning, but I can also be the initiatress at times, you know, and initiate sex. And that was also a learning. So I think there's a lot of things in there. We could pick out every single bit, you know, part of that and dive into that. But I think a lot, that's, you know, in a way, freeing yourself from conditioning and blockages and negative thoughts and also like boxes is what is going to help you to become tantric, because you are becoming yourself again. And you're going to feel the energies again. And I think that's also something that we did a lot, that we explored our energies.
So I think do you think it was in parallel, or did it have some kind of order? For me, I was thinking about maybe it was first taking back your responsibilities and your power, then exploring yourself. What do you want? What is really what I want? And expressing it and getting it. And then I think it was a whole chapter about your body, all the blockages you have in the body, and to sensitize. No, that's not the right word. To make your body more sensitive.
Yeah. In releasing blockages and unnumbing it, Yeah. And parallel to that also, releasing things in the subconsciousness. Like a lot of times, things like freezing, not being able to speak, things like this, also going there and releasing them a lot through hypnosis. And then we started to explore energies together. And it's the beautiful thing is that it kind of all lined up, it's just, I opened up, I asked for help to the universe, to whatever, and then things just came, and there was something there, and this is how I changed.
And what changed? Looking back to the time before.
You mean how I'm different now?
How you're different, how your life is different.
Well, I would say that today I'm really connected to myself. I know myself so much better. I know my body really, really well. I have a really personal relationship to my body, to my breasts, to my yoni. They're so personal to me, and I'm so close to them. There's nothing. I will always stand up for them. That changed a lot. Nothing is going to come there. And so I know myself really, really well. I know what I like, and I can really communicate it. That's something that changed. And of course it changed a lot when you learn that in sexuality. You're going to bring that into your life. So I'm so much better in speaking my truth, and because I know what I want, and I know what I don't want. So that changed a lot, being clear, and I feel like I'm so much more confident in a way, and stronger. But it comes also with knowing yourself and speaking your truth, and not being, not let old conditioning guide you, but I'm living from the inside out more and more. And I feel like I'm living in so much more abundance, obviously, because I feel a lot more abundant inside. And last but not least, the thing that I love the most is that I have totally, completely activated my Tantric energy, Kundalini energy, whatever you would call it. And that gives me so much bliss, because I can just tune into it, and I feel energy right now in my heart so much that I am just not experiencing orgasms anymore, but I'm orgasmic. And and that's something when I get to experience sex with the divine and with life. So I think I brought sex also on another level. It can be physical, but a lot of time it's energetic, and sometimes it's even somewhere in the universe. Experiencing what everybody always talks about, and I get to experience now, that sex is it's like the entry to the universe, to the divine.
Maybe this also is a connection to what Marie said.
Yeah, I want to read it also. Marie saying, cause we grow up with a misguiding impression of sexuality, the impression that sexuality is about orgasm, male orgasm. Is that it? Yeah. And that's so interesting, and I would love to know what you mean exactly about, maybe you do understand it, why is it about male orgasm? Or maybe I do understand, because a lot of times, this was what I thought, is that once my partner, the man, orgasms, I'm satisfied, then it's all okay. This is what it was all about. And I thought it was my job to bring you there. And yes, we are raised like this. A lot of times in women, I think it's still deeply anchored that we need to please the man,
So I understand.
Thank you for that.
I understand it also, like it starts the initiator is mostly the male, and it ends with a male orgasm. So it's always about male orgasm. So I get the point how women could look at it. I want to share something from my education growing up. So
Marie saying that's exactly what she meant.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I want to have your male perspective on that. And it was that my mother raised me in terms of telling me about sexuality and stuff. And she was so, she put so much focus on that the male has a responsibility, the man has a responsibility for the woman, and that I understood it as I have to please the woman, and I'm only good in bed when the woman is pleased. So it was not about my male orgasm, it was about the women being satisfied, and then I granted myself permission to have an orgasm.
It's so interesting how we both sides are raised that way, and then I try to please you, you try to please me, and fuck, in the end nobody is happy. You know. So thank you for bringing that in, Marie. You know, this is exactly the point, and was the most powerful thing that we did, saying really like a ritual. I am taking back my power. I'm responsible for my pleasure, and you did the same. You are responsible for yours, and that just liberated us so much. It was so powerful. Yeah. And I actually wanted to, you know, throw the ball to you and ask you, how did sexuality change for you, or what changed for you when I changed?
I don't want to focus this only on sexuality because it's much bigger. And I think it needs, if you grow in your personality and in your being, it also needs your partner to grow, because you're more into your strength, and you're more into your whiteness, and more into your darkness also, and in your light. And so it takes more power to hold it, to give it space, and to work with it also. So it's like always a growing process for the two. And as your life changed, my life changed as well. So it's sometimes a challenge, and I think growth is always sometimes a challenge. And we are challenges us together. Like one is stepping 2 steps, and the other is trying to chase or whatever, to catch up. And in terms of sexuality, it's like, I think the most important thing was the liberation thing you just described, because getting off the burden of taking care of your orgasm is one of the greatest things happen to
you can do to a man. Yourself. It's true. Yeah, and it's on both sides.
Yeah,
liberating each other, and I think a lot of times that's the first thing, you know, to really start living a tantric sexuality or life, is take back your fucking power into your life and the responsibility for your pleasure. You don't need anyone to feel pleasure. You don't need anyone to be satisfied. You can actually do that by yourself. Big one. I love my sexuality, just, you know, I love self-pleasure. I love loving myself. I love living my sexuality with myself. And, you know, that's also a big one. Yeah.
And so, I think this is also, besides that, the radical 100% yes to all of you, without judgment, to all your things.
Desires also, and fantasies.
Yeah, but also your things you want to hide, and aspects of you want to put into a cage. So true. This is also the ultimate power to take back all the powers, like going into rage or anger or whatever, which you are hiding as a man, or I'm also educated to hide. So it was also like holding this in the female,
and holding it in you.
And holding it in me.
Yeah, both. Thank you, Marie, for your words of encouragement. And I think, to sum it up, you know, it's also the same thing, that the more I, you know, was centered in me, I could hold you. And the more I could hold you and you power you more and more and more, and we're still like growing there, you can step into your sexual power also. So it's both, you know, when the women are empowered, then the man can be empowered and live the sexuality that sometimes is distractive, that sometimes is raw, you know, it's the male. And it's both to also accept that I have that in me. So, it's releasing all parts of who you are, all of them. And that can be the dark parts also, and including them in a beautiful way also in your sex life and your sexuality. That is tantric sex for me. And yes, a lot for me. That's just me. I'm so energetic, and that's
let's talk about energies, huh?
Actually, I wanted to sum it up.
But
I wanted to drop here that a lot of the things we just talked about are part of my course that I'm starting on the 26th of February, Tantric Goddess, where we are going through all the steps that I did, that I did for myself, to unplug myself, to heal things, to uncondition myself, and to step into my Tantric Woman, to step into my Tantric Goddess, to start living from the inside out, to start living, my own truth, and to feel my energies and to experience pleasure. So all of that and so much more is in the course. It's actually everything that I learned during the last 5 years, including hypnosis, working on the subconscious level, including Tantra, rituals, exercises, breath work, embodiment. So there's so much in there to work on all levels. It's also really, really healing. And it's not only on sexuality. Like if you're in a state of your life and you want to change something, you want to be empowered, you want to let go of blockages, in fact, this is exactly what we're doing. Because if you heal these things, and Tantra is on all levels, and sexuality is just one mirror of everything. And this is what we are going to dive into. And I wanted to share that here before we maybe talk about energies. So if anybody feels like leaving, you're so invited to check out my link, my profile, the link in my profile, and to join this beautiful tribe of Tantric women. And it's going to be really powerful.
Cool.
Yeah. Do you have I loved it, energies. Is there something that came to your mind?
You were talking about so much, and I'm not sure if anyone is familiar with it or know what it is, or maybe had heard of. And so I wanted to just dip into it because you're so
on fire
about energies.
So,
what are energies?
So energies. I mean, we are energy. Our source is energy. And we just forget because we are so caught up in the material world that we don't focus on the things that we can't see anymore, but you can feel them when you become present. And their sex becomes a meditation actually, because you start to feel more and more. And what I mean with sexual energy is actually, in a way, it relates to your chakras also. It's like unplugging them, like all of them. So the energy that you have can flow free again. And that's the moment when you will you don't only feel someone physical, but when you are like face to face, you will feel the heart. And there's like this feeling, you can feel energy in your heart center or in your yoni. You feel on a different level, you feel energy. It's really is a feeling, and it's really strong, And that's what I mean. It's really it's actually tapping into your life force energy, and it's tapping into your source that you might not be able to feel anymore, but it's always there. And this helps me so much in my life when there's emotions, when I'm sad, when whatever comes up, I can move it again, because emotions are just energy in motion, or energy being plugged. So it's actually that. Yeah,
maybe give some example. What happens if you raise your sexual energy, which is in the lower chakras, and bring it up into your heart chakra? What happens then? Practical words.
I don't know. There's so much happened. What is it that you want to know?
I think to make it explicit, it's like, for me, it's like feeling love. It's if your heart
is. But a greater love, huh?
It's a greater love, but it's the purest love. If your heart is so full of energy and it's overflowing with love.
Yeah. That's beautiful. I mean, my heart is so open and vibrating now, actually, also, that I feel unconditional, pure love, a feeling of home, I always tell you, this is the most beautiful feeling I ever got to experience in my whole life. It's like being home. It's like being in the source of the universe. It's more than love. It's more than loving someone or being in love. It's something else. And it's, I don't know, it's wholeness, it's beauty, it's bliss, it's love, it's all of that in one. This is what happens when you rise your energy, you know, from physical level and from the lower chakras to the higher chakras. And if you rise them even higher, you open up to the source. And you know, sometimes during sex afterwards we are quiet for minutes because there's so much energy that we are floating somewhere, we're leaving our body maybe even. I mean, it's like a meditation, you know.
And it's also like experience if you're taking drugs.
It's like taking plant medicine or psychedelics in a way, you know. That's also something opens up.
Because you enter a state of expanded consciousness.
Right, obviously, because you move so much energy, you know. It's like during breath work, you can do that also. So this is where sexuality becomes really magic. And I want to take you on that journey. I want to show you. I want to teach you. I want to show you ways how to get there. Because 4 years ago, 4 years ago, I was numb. I didn't feel anything. I hated sex. I mean, you got to experience that, and I was always in the head. I was freezing, you know, all the time, and fuck, I was just numb. And now it's so different. And it's a really magical journey. And as you can see, maybe it just changes your life.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that was a beautiful talk. Thank you everyone who joined me. Thank you Marie also for commenting. How do you say that? Yeah, for being here. Thank you for the hearts. Thank you, beautifuls. If there's any more questions that you have, drop them. We will still love to talk about them later.
Yeah.
And if you have questions about my course Tantric Goddess, you know, write me. I'd love to talk to you about it. Also, you know, to see if you have any questions, and this is just completely free, so if you want to talk about it or if you have questions, let me know. I am going to love to welcome you there. Thank you for holding this space and for sharing also about your perspective and for the questions. Thank you, loves. So beautiful. Thank you, Marie. Really, it's also beautiful that life guided you here today, maybe. Thank you for that. And you're so welcome. Mwah. Lots of love and kisses to wherever you are in the world. Thank you for many wonderful and eye-opening insights. Thank you, Anna Sophia. Thank you so much for being here and for joining us, and for also for letting us know. And you're so welcome, Goddess. So good to connect to you again. Beautiful. All right, love. Thank you for being here. Thank you. Lots of love to all of you. Bye.